I'm not totally sure what's happened. I have a suspicion I'm influenced right now. I do have a wicked head cold. Uh, Probably have took too many pharmaceuticals to treat said head cold. Might not be in the most clear headspace. Might be why I'm enjoying this episode so much, but I still feel like I have a semblance of sanity here. But is it just me, or was this a really good episode? Like, this is the type of episode that if, like, we get a season 2 confirmation, and the second half of this show is more similar to this, I'd probably watch a second season. I still think this is the least enjoyable. I can't say worse, because people get offended. They're like, no, this is the worst, and no matter how many times I explicitly state this is the worst show that I am watching, not period, because the actual worst shows of a season, you probably shouldn't watch at all. But this had, like, way more of a coherent kind of formula. Maybe Lena's the issue? Because she really wasn't on screen and this episode served better. Maybe secretly she's the issue. I don't know. But the whole Blacksmith story and the reason why someone didn't want to make weapons because they feel guilty about Grandma's death because her weapons ended up in the hands of bad people who used them. Pretty enjoyable situation. And honestly, they have the chance to do the funniest thing possible. They won't do it. I fully am ready to be disappointed by a normal looking sword next week. But if they give him farming equipment, I might just rate the show 10 out of 10. When they show the hoe blade, like, I'm thinking to myself, that would actually make sense. He's mostly farming, and he can turn anything into a sword. Why not just give him a damn hoe? They won't do it, but the more I got thinking, I'm like, why doesn't he get like a Swiss Army knife of tools? Some of them are good for tools for farming, and then others are for stabby fun time. I mean, I don't even think he necessarily needs a sword, to be honest. The whole episode, he's using his broken sword and just using the hilt of it to bust through doors. He doesn't even have to fight anymore. He has a pixie that knocks everyone out. Why does he even, like, I think at this point, he's just a chuny. Like, he thinks he needs it just to look cool. Anyway, full thoughts and stuff over on Patreon if anyone wants to have full live reactions and support the channel over there exclusively. So, the episode was good. I enjoyed it. Maybe part of the reason is because I'm delirious as hell. I mean, it's like when you get drunk or high and you're watching some shitty movie, you're probably gonna enjoy that shit more. But, I don't know, like, the crazy thing too is the only thing that was, like, inconsistent visually was 2 moments. There's this one shot of a fork. It just threw me for a loop. I was like, why does that fork look like it should have 4 prongs and not 3? And then there's this dude, I think his name's Doug. Best character of the season, a dude named Doug. He looked like he had a sword similar to Cloud from Final Fantasy. And it looked oddly short. And then later in the episode, the sword was back to a normal length. So I'm glad to know that the inconsistencies for characters' weapon or cutlery is going to remain strong. But I don't know, man. This episode makes me question. Like, I don't think I was wrong about my previous episode's criticisms. There was still a lot of ass about this show. And I still think this is the least enjoyable show I'm watching, so therefore the weakest and worst show I'm watching this season. But we've gone from, I'm probably excited for the show to end more than I am the next episode, to, if this is a good indication of future episodes, I'd watch more. I'd watch a season 2. Huh. Honestly, like, I think there was a slight turning point around the time we were dealing with the necromancy zombie bullshit. There's still a lot of issues with that, like, why are we taking a child with us, and just, like, a lot of, like, dumb little gimmicks. I felt like this was the most, like, structured episode. And in a way, it almost felt like it was more similar to, like, an episode 2 or 3 in a better show. The idea of the Blacksmith story was good. I thought she was a thief. Like, they teased last week, this character. I thought she was a thief. Turns out she's a blacksmith, on top of her father being a blacksmith. At first, I thought her reasoning for, like, making frying pans and shit was just a smart business move. Because I would imagine you can probably sell more cooking ware than you can blades, especially if, like, your average adventurer needs a sword once in a blue moon. Turns out, no, it's actually more interesting because she doesn't want her weapons to fall into the wrong hands. And even though they confirm that the bandits that killed Grandma, who ended up with their sword, she didn't directly make the sword for them, it just went through multiple hands. I mean, your signature stamps on it. I mean, you're gonna feel guilty about Grandma not making it to the next family dinner. I completely get that. The thing that was probably the most shocking was actually the disconnect between father and daughter. I thought it was going to be more of he was disappointed she was wasting her talents. No, in fact, the dad's taking up all this, like, essentially blackmail. Like, yes, they're getting paid, but they're pretty much being forced at gunpoint to make weapons for a shitty group of people, and if they don't, they're going to force the daughter to do it. Like, in theory, could they have picked up arms? Maybe, but you never know how big an organization is. So essentially, yeah, I get it. And because he's not communicating that to the girl, you know, obviously father-daughter disconnect, your failure, blah, blah, blah. And in general, pretty enjoyable. I am slightly concerned because if the show functions like it did this episode, I can treat it more as a slice of life. But if they're gonna want me to think Light is an adventure, there's no threat. He has a pixie that... There's this giant pony boar thing? I don't even know. And that pixie was able to knock even that out. At this point, I'm assuming even a dragon level monster, that thing's gonna get knocked out. He doesn't need to fight. Maybe they'll go the route that some things can't be knocked out or there's gonna be a cooldown. I don't know. But like, episodes like these make me like question myself. Like, man, was I being too harsh? No, because I wasn't. Because the previous episodes were mid as shit. Sometimes they were enjoyable mid, I'm not going to deny that. And I think the show's at its best when it breaks a man's face with a broom. Or in this case, has a man become a fanboy because a man broke a man's face with a broom. That literally happened. This dude's like, hey, when I saw you, I forget what he said, like the deck sweeper or something. He said something like that. Either way, like the fact that a man became a fanboy because a man broke another man's face with a broom. That's funny no matter how you spin it. I don't know, man. I guess we'll know for sure come next week when I'm not as delirious off of cold medicine. But I think they might have cooked this episode. Either I'm high as shit or they cooked. Probably a bit of both, but It's gonna be really funny though if Lena comes back and the show starts sucking more. We're just gonna have to push her out of the way. Because I thought they were building into this girl coming with us on adventures. Like she'd be like maybe more of a melee fighter or something. But if she's more of a blacksmith, she'll be like the hookup for equipment and shit. I don't know. I'm totally expecting a normal looking sword. I think they should make the dumbest looking sword or give him farming equipment. Do the funny thing. They won't do the funny thing, but yeah. They might have something here now. Let me know your thoughts and feelings. You're probably more clear-minded than I am. So did you enjoy the episode as much as me, or am I just delirious? You let me know. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned for live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Artigan, Corey M, Andres Praz, Dustin Stack, Sagatoris 9, Captain Morel, Shots Valorant, and we also have a Late Night Riddance. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you all have a good one.